Exogen loading. The most unique feature about Exogen is its loading. And we've designed a load like nothing out there today. We think anyway. So these loads are designed to go on a human body. They're organic in nature. They're actually designed along muscle architecture. We call them fusiform loads. The shape is a really specific orientation. I'll tell you about that in a minute. But most important is to take how these things are designed to flex and move. And that patent design is something really unique. Again, allowing you to load resistance during real movement with focus on your primary emphasis or primary skill. Not only does this add resistance to the body for regular conditioning, power, speed, endurance, the regular things you might think about adding extra intensity to your training, but that shape of that load is really important. There's a belly and an insertion just like a muscle, and where that belly goes, the bulk of that load goes. And the bulk of that load can actually change movement mechanics. You can force internal or you can force external rotation. So when people have different discrepancies in movement that you want to work with, these loads help you to accentuate or to de-emphasize a certain type of movement. And the best way to learn this is to get the suit on and experiment with it. On our website, you'll see a lot more detail coming on specific loading patterns for sport. But literally, you know yourself best, your coaches know yourself best, you're going to have to play. But we will show you the 4 load orientations, and it's very simple actually. The first one we call is distal loading. Distal loading is with the muscle belly, the belly of the load, at the far distal end of the joint. So whether that's distal to the rotating point of the elbow or distal to the shoulder. Distal to the hip, so the belly's at the knee. Distal to the calf, the belly's down low. What that does, that puts emphasis of the weight down at the farthest end from the point of rotation. So it gives you an emphasis of force or strength. The other loading profile that's opposite that is proximal. When you put that muscle belly close to that point of rotation, you get a strong initial inertia, but a loose high-speed finish. So when you're training for speed, look to put your loads proximally. When you're training for strength and power, maybe impact energy on a punch, load distal. The next thing you want to do is you want to take a look at, we'll go over here. I'll take a look here. Internal and external. Internal and external oblique loading takes a look at putting that belly either to the medial line or to the lateral line of the body. And again, if I load up a few pieces of load, now each one of those are about half a pound, 200 plus grams. I've now loaded the majority of that load on the inside of the leg, and as soon as she goes to move, she's going to notice that emphasis, possibly to stop or inhibit or enhance the type of rotation. And the opposite, of course, is external oblique loading, getting the belly of that load to the outside, and that can apply anywhere on the body. Proximal loading for speed, distal loading for power and strength, and medial or lateral oblique loading for movement specific. And the last one is what we call a neutral pattern. If you just want to get a lot of weight onto the suit, you simply alternate. You see belly to tail, so it kind of creates a neutral pattern that doesn't disturb mechanics. The other thing too is posterior and anterior. You can load at the back, you can load at the front, you can literally load that thing anywhere you see black. And the last thing on these loads is, you notice our Velcro system, which is a patented, unique system of this whole exoskeleton. This thing is designed to stay on. It's not going to come off. It's not going to come off at high-speed work or contact. If it does, it's going to be pretty rare, but we spend a lot of time getting that design right. So make sure when you put your loads down, just seal them down, tail to tail. There's a nice lip there that you can use to grab the product after, but make sure those lips are down. And a couple of key points. Make sure your loading isn't close to the skin because it'll feel funny or irritate. Keep it in the black areas where you're going to load, and try not to put loads in areas that inhibit movement.